Hi guys, welcome back to Sci-Fi Odyssey and to another episode of Great Sci-Fi Books Explained, where we dive into the fascinating worlds crafted by some of the best minds in science fiction. Today we're exploring the iconic dystopian novel Fahrenheit 451 by the legendary Ray Bradbury. Imagine a world where books are illegal and firemen don't put out fires but instead burn books. Intrigued? Today we'll uncover the real-life inspirations and the powerful messages behind Fahrenheit 451. Fair warning, there will be hot spoilers ahead as we unravel the depths of this timeless tale that continues to resonate with readers today. Fahrenheit 451 is set in a dystopian future where all books are banned, and firemen are tasked with burning any that are found. The story follows Guy Montag, a fireman who becomes disillusioned with his role in society. Montag lives in a world where television dominates and critical thinking is purposefully suppressed. The plot kicks off with Montag meeting his new neighbour, Clarice McKellen, a young woman with a curious and free-spirited nature. Her unconventional views and questioning of the world sparks something within Montag, leading him to question his own life and beliefs. As Montag becomes increasingly disconnected, his wife, Mildred, remains absorbed in her interactive TV walls and dismisses his concerns. Montag's internal conflict reaches a turning point when he steals a book from one of the houses he is supposed to burn. He reached up and pulled back the grill of the air conditioning system and reached far back inside to the right and moved still another sliding sheet of metal and took out a book. He gazed at it in his hands, his eyes wide, seeing but not seeing. Montag's transformation is marked by key events, and he is eventually forced to burn down his own house under the orders of his fire chief, Captain Beatty, who is aware of Montag's growing disillusionment. This confrontation escalates, leading to a deadly clash where Montag kills Beatty with a flamethrower in a desperate act of self-defense. Now a fugitive, Montag escapes the city and joins a group of intellectuals led by a man named Granger. This group, known as the Book People, have dedicated themselves to preserving literary works by memorizing them, ensuring their survival despite the oppressive regime. As Montag integrates into this community, he finds solace and a renewed sense of purpose. Meanwhile, the city Montag fled is engulfed in a devastating war, symbolizing the collapse of the oppressive society Montag once served. The story concludes on a note of cautious optimism. Montag and the Book People, now safe from the chaos, are left with the task of rebuilding society, carrying with them the knowledge and wisdom of the books they have memorized. They offer a glimmer of hope for a future where critical thought and literature can thrive once again. Fahrenheit 451 was published in 1953, under a period of intense social, political and technological change. The aftermath of World War II, the beginning of the Cold War and the rise of McCarthyism played significant roles in shaping the cultural landscape of the time. McCarthyism refers to the practice of making accusations of subversion or treason, especially related to communism, without proper regard for evidence, leading to a climate of fear and suspicion. Some regard this period of the US's history, also known as the Red Scare, as having a chilling effect on political dissent and freedom of expression. The impact of McCarthyism and an added fear of nuclear annihilation on American society was profound, contributing to a culture of paranoia and self-censorship. I wrote this book at a time when I was worried about the way things were going in this country. Too many people were afraid of their shadows. There was a threat of book burning. Many of the books were being taken off the shelves at the time. At the time, I wanted to do some sort of story where I could comment on what would happen to a country if we let ourselves go too far in this direction, where all thinking stops and the dragon swallows his tail, and we sort of vanish into a limbo where we destroy ourselves by this sort of action. Culturally, the 1950s saw a significant shift towards conformity and consumerism. The growth of television as a dominant medium for enlightenment and the information led to concerns about the decline of reading and intellectual discourse. Ray Bradbury was particularly influenced by the rise of mass media and the potential for technology to be used as a tool for oppression and control. Technologically, the era was marked by rapid advancements and a fascination with the future. However, there was a growing anxiety about how these technologies could be misused. Bradbury's depiction of a society obsessed with shallow entertainment and disconnected from critical thinking was a direct response to these concerns. These historical, cultural, and technological factors heavily influenced the themes and content of Fahrenheit 451. The book reflects Bradbury's fears about censorship, the loss of individuality, and the dangers of an unthinking, compliant society. It serves as a powerful warning about the potential unintended consequences of technology and of allowing government to stifle free thought and expression. Guy Montag is the protagonist of the story, a fireman who initially conforms to society's anti-book stance. He embodies the archetype of the hero on a quest for enlightenment. Over the course of the novel, Montag undergoes significant character development. He evolves from a complacent enforcer of the state's oppressive laws to a seeker of knowledge and truth. In a 1974 interview, Bradbury stated, "My character Montag is myself discovering me." Montag's transformation is catalysed by his interactions with Clarice McKellen and his growing disillusionment with his empty life and society's shallow values. His unique trait is his curiosity, which ultimately leads him to rebel against the societal norms and seek intellectual freedom. Clarice is a young, free-spirited woman who plays a crucial role in Montag's awakening. Her inquisitive nature and the unconventional perspective challenge Montag's worldview. She represents the archetype of the catalyst, sparking change and self-reflection in Montag. Though her time in the novel is brief, her impact on Montag is profound, initiating his journey towards self-awareness and rebellion. Mildred, Montag's wife, epitomizes the hollow, superficial existence promoted by the oppressive regime. She is obsessed with her interactive TV walls and seashell radios, showing little interest in the real human connections or intellectual pursuits. Mildred's character remains static throughout the novel, highlighting the dangers of societal complacency and the loss of individuality. Her unique trait is her detachment, representing the archetype of the conformist who is deeply ingrained in the system. "Will you turn the parlour off?" he asked. "That's my family." "Will you turn it off for a sick man?" "I'll turn it down." She went out of the room and did nothing to the parlour and came back. "Is that better?" Captain Beatty is Montag's boss and the fire chief. He is a complex character who is well read, yet supports book burning and censorship. His unique trait is his articulate and manipulative speech, which he uses to justify the regime's actions and maintain control over Montag. Beatty also represents the hypocritical, paradoxical nature of oppressive regimes that expect the population to adhere to rules that they themselves cannot and do not adhere to. Despite his extensive knowledge of literature, he condemns it, embodying the self-contradictions and moral corruptions of the state. Beatty represents the archetype of the antagonist, embodying the oppressive force that Montag must overcome. What is fire? It's a mystery. Scientists give us gobbledygook about friction and molecules, but they don't really know. Its real beauty is that it destroys responsibility and consequences. A problem gets too burdensome, then into the furnace with it. Other characters include Faber, a retired English professor who becomes Montag's mentor. He represents the intellectual resistance to the oppressive regime and the archetype of the mentor. Then there's Granger, the leader of the book people, who represents hope for the future and the resilience of human knowledge, and the archetype of the sage, who provides wisdom and guidance for the reconstruction of society. Fahrenheit 451 is rich with concepts that explore the impact of technology and authoritarianism on society. They not only make for compelling storytelling, but also serve as a profound commentary on the potential future of our own society. The central theme in the story is largely regarded to be about censorship. The banning books and having Fireman burn any that are found represents the suppression of dissenting ideas and the control of information. The government uses censorship as a tool to maintain power and prevent rebellion, demonstrating how authoritarian regimes can manipulate knowledge to keep populations passive and compliant. Bradbury compounds this by depicting a society overwhelmed by technology, where superficial entertainment has replaced meaningful engagement. The interactive TV walls and seashell radios symbolise how technology can dominate daily life, distracting people from critical thinking and genuine human connections. In an interview, however, Bradbury said, "My book is not about censorship. It's about the moronic influence of popular media that is trying to eliminate all thought." In the novel, TV walls are large, interactive screens that cover entire walls in people's homes. These screens broadcast endless streams of mindless entertainment and government propaganda, encouraging citizens to immerse themselves in a shallow, artificial reality. Characters like Mildred, Montag's wife, spend their days glued to these screens, losing touch with the world around them and becoming increasingly isolated from real human interaction. In another interview, Bradbury expressed his deep concern about the impact of television on society, stating, "You don't have to burn books to destroy a culture. Just get people to stop reading them." The omnipresent TV walls serve to bombard citizens with state-approved messages, fostering conformity and discouraging critical thought. This concept critiques the potential for media to be exploited by those with power to manipulate public perception and maintain control over society. Similarly, the seashell radios are small earbud-like devices that people wear constantly, filling their minds with constant barrage of music, talk shows, and advertisements. These devices prevent individuals from having quiet moments of reflection or meaningful conversations, keeping them perpetually distracted and disengaged from their own thoughts and feelings. This portrayal serves as a critique of how mass media can be used to control and pacify the populace. By bombarding citizens with propaganda, trivial content, and keeping them in a state of passive consumption, the government in Fahrenheit 451 effectively suppresses dissent and critical thinking. Remarkably, Bradbury predicted the future with his depiction of giant wall-mounted televisions and personal audio devices, much like today's monolithic flat-screen TVs and earbuds. These predictions underscore Bradbury's foresight into how technology could evolve and its potential impact on society. In a 2007 interview, Bradbury said, "I wasn't trying to predict the future, I was trying to prevent it. If I can convince you to stop the things that I'm doing, then you're saved." Ray Bradbury was born on August 22, 1920 in Illinois in the US. He grew up in a family that valued storytelling, and his early life was marked by a love of books and the imagination. Bradbury moved to Los Angeles in 1934, where he became involved in the local literary and science fiction communities. He began writing stories as a teenager and sold his first piece at the age of 21. Over the course of his prolific career, Bradbury wrote numerous novels, short stories, plays, and screenplays, becoming one of the most celebrated science fiction and fantasy authors of the 20th century. He passed away on June 5, 2012, leaving behind a legacy of influential and beloved works. Fahrenheit 451 was heavily influenced by the political and cultural climate of the time. Bradbury was deeply concerned about censorship and the growing influence of mass media. When I heard about Hitler burning books in the streets of Berlin, it bothered me terribly. I was 15 when it happened. I was thoroughly in love with libraries, and he, Hitler, was burning me when he did that. The reason why I wrote Fahrenheit is that I am a library person, and I am in danger of someday writing something that people might not like, and they might want to burn. So it was only natural that I sat down and wrote Fahrenheit 451. A significant event that inspired Fahrenheit 451 was Bradbury's encounter with a police officer in Los Angeles. While walking with a friend, Bradbury was stopped and questioned by the officer about their activities. This incident made Bradbury acutely aware of the growing surveillance and control exerted by authorities. fueling his imagination about a future where such scrutiny could become the norm. One night, a police car pulled up, and the policeman got out, looked at me and said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Putting one foot in front of the other." He said, "Don't get smart with me." I said, "Well, you asked me a silly question and I gave you a silly answer. I was just walking with a friend," and the policeman didn't like it. Bradbury was also influenced by a wide range of literary works and authors. One of his key inspiration was Aldous Huxley's Brave New World, which also explores themes of control and the impact of technology on society. George Orwell's 1984, with its stark portrayal of totalitarianism and surveillance, also had a profound impact on Bradbury. Ironically, Fahrenheit 451 itself has faced censorship over the years. Some editions of the novel, particularly those aimed at younger readers, have had certain words and phrases altered or removed. For instance, in the 1967 Ballantine Books edition aimed at high schools, about 75 passages were modified to remove instances of profanity and other languages deemed inappropriate for younger audiences. Words like hell and damn were replaced with milder alternatives, and some controversial scenes were toned down to avoid offending sensibilities. However, these alterations sparked controversy and debate about the integrity of the text, and the very themes of censorship and intellectual freedom that the novel critiques. Recognising the importance of maintaining the original language and message, efforts have been made to restore Bradbury's original text in most modern editions. In 1980, Bradbury himself requested that the censored versions be phased out and that his unaltered text be reinstated. Modern editions of Fahrenheit 451 now typically include Bradbury's original language, ensuring that the novel's powerful message about the dangers of censorship and the value of intellectual freedom remains intact. This restoration underscores the irony of censoring a work that stands against the suppression of ideas. Bradbury received the 2,193rd star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame on April 1, 2002, in recognition of his anti-censorship classic and works of fiction. The novel is called Fahrenheit 451 because, according to Bradbury, this is the temperature at which book paper supposedly catches fire and burns. Additional to its central theme around censorship and the impact of technology on society, particularly how it can be used to control and pacify the populace, Fahrenheit 451 delves into the conflict between conformity and individuality, the dangers of passivity and complacency, and the power and value of knowledge. There must be something in books, things we can't imagine, to make a woman stay in a burning house. There must be something there. You don't stay for nothing. In the novel, society values sameness and discourages any form of individuality. Clarice McKellen, with her inquisitive nature and unique perspective, represents individuality and is ostracised for it. Montag's transformation is a journey towards embracing his individuality, questioning societal norms, and seeking personal freedom. This theme reflects the broader philosophical debate about the balance between societal cohesion and individual rights. The novel is also a stark warning against the dangers of passivity and complacency. The citizens in Bradbury's dystopian world are depicted as passive consumers of media, uninterested in questioning the status quo or engaging in critical thought. This passivity allows the authoritarian regime to maintain control without resistance. Montag's awakening and subsequent rebellion illustrate the necessity of active engagement and critical thinking in challenging oppressive systems. With his story, Bradbury underscores the intrinsic value of knowledge and literature. Books are portrayed as the vessels of human experience, wisdom, and critical thought. The book people who memorize books to preserve their content symbolize the enduring power of knowledge and its role in fostering a more enlightened and free society. This theme highlights the idea that knowledge is essential for personal growth and societal progress. Despite the advanced technology and constant connectivity, characters in the novel experience profound isolation and loneliness. Montag's relationship with his wife Mildred is distant and unfulfilling, and she is more connected to her TV family than to him. Clarice's disappearance leaves Montag feeling more isolated, pushing him towards his quest for deeper meaning and connection. This theme explores the paradox of how technology meant to bring people together can be used to drive them apart. The novel's critique of technology highlights an ongoing debate among scholars. While many see the novel as a critique of technological overreach, warning against a future where people are disconnected from reality due to their dependence on screens and superficial entertainment, some scholars argue that Bradbury's concern is more about the misuse of technology rather than the technology itself. These scholars suggest that the real issue Bradbury highlights is how technology can be used to manipulate and control populations, leading to a loss of individuality and critical thinking. This nuanced interpretation prompts readers to consider how technology can be both a tool for progress and a means for control, depending on its application. Nobody listens anymore. I can't talk to the walls because they're yelling at me. I can't talk to my wife. She listens to the walls. I just want someone to hear what I have to say. And maybe if I talk long enough, it'll make sense. Fahrenheit 451 is rich with symbolism that enhances its themes and overall allegory. For example, books symbolise knowledge and freedom. These symbols aim to deepen the narrative and reinforce the novel's central themes. Through these literary devices, Bradbury delivers a powerful message that illustrates the complex interplay between destruction and creation, oppression and freedom, and ignorance and knowledge. Fire is one of the most prominent symbols in the novel and represents both destruction and enlightenment. Initially, fire symbolises the oppressive forces used by the firemen to burn books and suppress knowledge. However, as Montag's character evolves, fire also comes to represent warmth, light, and the potential for rebirth and transformation. The dual nature of fire underscores the novel's theme of technology's power to both harm and help humanity. Another prominent symbol can be found in the mechanical hand, one of the most unnerving technologies found in the story. This robotic enforcer is used by the firemen to track down and eliminate those who defy the government's ban on books. Its insect-like appearance, silent movements, and tracking capabilities make it a relentless and unnerving presence. The hound's emotional and lethal efficiency, symbolised by its needle that can administer a fatal injection, embodies the cold, dehumanising force of the state. This terrifying entity amplifies the novel's themes of technological control and the oppressive nature of an authoritarian regime, illustrating the extreme measures used to maintain societal conformity and suppress dissent. Bradbury also uses war as a powerful symbol of the destructive consequences of authoritarianism and technological overreach, ultimately calling for a society that values freedom, critical thinking, and ethical progress. The looming threat of the war throughout the story and its eventual outbreak reflects the real-world anxieties of the 1950s, a time marked by the constant fear of nuclear conflict. The city looked like a heap of baking powder. It's gone, and all of us are gone with it. The men who caused this war and all of us who let it happen, standing around not doing anything to stop it. The devastating impact of the war on the city in Fahrenheit signifies the ultimate failure of the oppressive society. The city, a symbol of the regime's control and its technological advancement, is reduced to rubble, highlighting the futility of a society built on authoritarian policies and technological dominance. The novel suggests that a society that stifles dissent and relies on technology to manipulate and control its citizens is inherently unstable and doomed to self-destruction. In the aftermath of the war, the survivors are left to contemplate the ruins of their former society. This moment of reflection and the possibility of rebuilding hint at the potential for a new beginning, free from the oppressive structures that led to their downfall. The war, while devastating, also serves as a catalyst for change, offering a glimmer of hope that a more just and enlightened society can emerge from the ashes. The journey to the publication of Fahrenheit 451 began with Bradbury's earlier works that explored similar themes. The novel originated from a shorter work entitled The Fireman, which was published in the February 1951 issue of Galaxy Science Fiction. Encouraged by the reception of this novella, Bradbury expanded it into a full-length novel. Bradbury quickly found a publisher willing to take on Fahrenheit, thanks to his growing reputation as a writer and the powerful themes of the book. The book was first published by Ballantine Books in 1953, and its success solidified Bradbury's status as a major voice in the science fiction and speculative fiction genres. Upon its release, the book received a mixed but generally positive reception from both critics and the general audience. Many praised Bradbury's imaginative storytelling and his stark warning about the dangers of censorship and totalitarianism. However, some critics were initially dismissive, considering the novel too sensationalist or overly political. Despite these criticisms, the book quickly garnered a dedicated readership and became a seminal work in the science fiction genre. It has received numerous awards and recognition since its publication, winning the American Academy of Arts and Letters Award in Literature and the Commonwealth Club of California Gold Medal. Though Fahrenheit 451 was published before the formal establishment of the Hugo Awards, it retroactively won a Retro Hugo in 2004 for the best novel of 1954. The novel's enduring relevance has also earned it a place in many academic curriculums worldwide and has been adapted into films, a TV show, plays with a screenplay written by Bradbury himself, radio dramas, and even a graphic novel. What's more, it has significantly influenced other works and the broader speculative fiction and science fiction genres. You can see Bradbury's unique blending of science fiction with social commentary in works such as The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins, The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood, and Red Rising by Pierce Brown. What's clear is that the ongoing impact of Fahrenheit 451 on readers and the science fiction genre is profound. Its cautionary tale continues to be relevant in contemporary discussions about freedom of speech and the role of technology in society. The book's portrayal of a dystopian future has influenced countless readers to critically evaluate the world around them and advocate for intellectual freedom. I'd love to hear your thoughts and interpretations of Fahrenheit 451. How did the novel impact you? Did you find any particular themes or symbols especially powerful? Share your insights in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to Sci-Fi Odyssey for more literary analysis and discussions. Thanks for watching. Until next time. Thanks so much for watching. If you're craving an extraordinary journey through realms unexplored, consider delving into universes directly out of my brain by checking out my sci-fi novels Black Milk and Delphine Descends. You can find more details in the description. Thanks for your support.